Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you guys were here a month, maybe 2 months ago, you might have seen me make a video about me reacting to 1-star reviews of my 5-star reads, and honestly, the only way that I can describe that experience is painful. But today, I'm the villain. Today, we're reacting to 5-star reviews of my 1-star reads. So these are the books I literally cannot stand to be in the same room with. I will not recommend this to you. I will not recommend this to your mother. Just don't read it. Jokes aside, this video is really just to say these books aren't my taste. This is no shade to you if you do like them. I didn't connect with them at all. And then one last thing before I enter my villain era. I don't have a ton of 1-star books. I have a few, so we're going to do all those. But then I'm also going to add in my 2-star reviews. Some books that I didn't think were scum of the earth, but couldn't give it more than 2 stars. Okay, let's do it. Yay, this is going to be so fun. And definitely not mean or rude at all. Okay, so first we're doing the books that were fully 1-star. As in, I would not recommend these books to my worst enemy, nor would I recommend them to anyone else. So the first book that comes to mind is none other than Neon Gods by Katie Robert. Now, I will say right off the bat, I think part of this was my fault because I love a good Greek retelling, and this is a Hades Persephone retelling. And I mean, who doesn't love books by, I don't know, Madeline Miller per se? This is no Madeline Miller, all right? I didn't know that. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Okay, so this person says, oh my, tempting, sexy as hell, addictive, stimulating. This book is pure sin. Yes, it is a sin to read and enjoy this book. Okay, that might have been a little bit dramatic. It says, most delicious, irresistible, incendiary sin you full-heartedly and voluntarily like to commit. If you really love a steamy, graphic situation, which again, no shade if you do. I think that's lovely. I really do. It's just not for me. Then this could totally be for you. I will say some of the things that I didn't like about this book was I didn't feel like the characters were developed really at all. And the biggest thing that I remember bothering me was the world building was just like not there. Like you have this unique scenario where you have the Greek gods living in like a very modern city, but because we were focusing so much on these very explicit scenes, I was just confused about the world that we were living in. And for me, that was just like the cherry on top. Okay, this person says, wow, I love mythologies and this retelling, my word. Spicy. Yes, very true. Hades and Persephone had me wide-eyed throughout the story. The buildup was intense and those playroom scenes were wild. Yes, they were. And now I've been reminded of those scenes and I wish that I could delete them from my brain. It's fine. We're good. We're going to move on. We are going to move on. Okay, there's only one other 1-star book that comes to mind for me, and that book is We Love You, We Do Not Love You, Charlie Freeman. Something that was really hard for me about this book is the premise sounded so good. It's about this family. They're the Freeman family, you might have guessed. They get sent to this research institution because there's a chimpanzee who lived there who was abandoned by his mother. And if I remember correctly, the family wants to teach, or the research institution wants this family to teach the chimpanzee sign language and see if they can communicate and stuff. And I have an anthropology background. I love biology, primatology. I eat that stuff up. So a fictionalized research situation sounded so cool, and maybe that's why I was so severely disappointed by this book. But there's a few scenes in particular, kind of like I just said about the last book. I wish I had a giant bar of soap that I could just scrub my brain clean with, because there are things in that book that I wish I didn't have to read. God, I can't think about it. Okay, we're going to move on. Someone says, this book was downright exciting in the way the author kept throwing curves at us, not taking the plot and characters where I expected them to go. Yes, that's so true. If you're looking for surprises, they're here. Okay, this person says, different than almost anything I have ever read in a very good way. See, for me, it was just in a very bad way, but I'm glad that these people are having these experiences. I would never wish my experience on anyone else. Okay, someone else says, this book haunts me. I feel for all the characters and also feel complicit in their torments. Damn, this person knows how to write. Caitlin Greenridge also uses an innovative story to illustrate what happens when people pursue individual agendas without truly listening to how their actions affect others. I think that might have been what frustrated me, actually, in part about the story. I mean, there's a lot of things, but this one, that really did bug me. So that I could totally see it being interpreted differently, like what I didn't like about the book being someone else's bread and butter. So if you decide to pick this book up, I hope you love it. I do. I wish I loved it. I just didn't. Okay, so those are the only two books that I can think of that I've literally given 1 star. Don't recommend. Not for me, not for you, not for anybody. Now, I think it'd be fun to switch over to some very low in the 2-star realms, some books that I didn't really like. The first one that I thought of was The Painted Veil by W. Somerset Maugham. One thing to know about me as a reader, I will literally read whatever you put in front of me. So it takes literally no convincing. I don't need to read the plot, don't need to know anything about it. I will randomly find a book and I will consume it right then and there. And this is one of those books. I found it at a used bookstore, thought it looked interesting, and now I regret those thoughts. Basically, this book is about a woman named Kitty who in the 1920s is having this affair, and then her husband finds out about this affair, and as if, I don't know, breaking up with her, divorcing her, being upset with her, you know, he could have done all those things, but instead what he decides to do is bring her into the heart of the cholera epidemic in Hong Kong, where they both could die. So if someone cheats on you, there's some new ideas for you on how to get back at them, because that is what this book is about. This person says wonderful writing and a good read. I had not read him lately, so I forgot how good of a writer he was. I don't actually remember having any issues with the writing of this story, so maybe I could get behind that. I feel like I had a lot of issues with the characters and the plot, but the writing, yeah, that might have been good. I don't really remember. This one says, this short masterpiece tells of love, betrayal, and a search for real meaning in life. Yeah, see, that's what I wanted, right? I love the idea of love and betrayal, but I felt like these characters had no opportunity to redeem themselves or to grow. It was just like, I love a painful book, okay? But this was just thing after thing after thing, and I felt like they weren't growing at all. What were they learning? It was a lot of pettiness, but then extreme actions were being taken. I don't know. Okay, someone gave this 5 stars and said, so incredibly topical during this COVID-19 pandemic. I did read this pre-COVID, so that honestly, I might have disliked it even more if I read it that time. Someone said, this book got under my skin first because I totally disliked Kitty, and then because I really wanted everything to turn out well for her. Honestly, yeah, I wanted things to turn out well for Kitty too. And no spoilers here, but just know that a lot of chaos continues to happen. That's all I'm going to say about that. I don't know, guys. That one was just not for me. But apparently it's a classic, so if you're interested in a really short and easy to read classic, you could totally check it out. I'm not going to tell you not to. I'm going to say I didn't have a good time, but you do whatever you want. I feel like I've been talking about books that aren't necessarily the most popular. Maybe I have. I don't know. But this one is a little bit popular. This one that I gave 2 stars was Before the Coffee Gets Cold. This is a very popular book, and I was really surprised that I didn't like it. This book takes place in Japan, and it's about this magical coffee shop where you can go back in time, but you only have the amount of time that it takes your coffee to get cold. And I love the concept. I love coffee. I love books. I would love to go to Japan. Everything about this sounded amazing. And then I just didn't love it. I feel like while I'm pulling up these reviews, my main issue was that there needed to be this sense of urgency because something bad happens if you don't come back to the present before the coffee goes cold. And so the author was repeating things 100 times to convey the sense of urgency. But for me, I was I know, this author thinks I'm dumb. because he keeps saying it over and over again. And so the urgency wasn't getting conveyed. It was more just like, I think, to me, I felt like the author thought his reader was not smart, and I didn't like that. Someone said, after an hour of nonstop sobbing on my Instagram story, I feel like I'm finally in the right headspace to cry on Goodreads instead. I don't think this book is necessarily sad. The way it approaches topics like loss is so gentle, so quiet, and so unassuming that it almost feels warm in an odd little way. See, I'm so glad that people are like loving this book. I really wish I did. I just did not resonate with the way that this message was being conveyed personally. But again, I'm like, if people are loving all these books that I'm talking about, I'm so glad. That's the beauty of reading. It really is. Again, I wish I had that experience, but I didn't. There are many great books, TV, series, and movies involving time travel. If you're a fan of that genre, I absolutely recommend you read this series. Yeah, this is true. I tend to think of time travel as more high stakes, like more fantasy elements, whereas I would describe this as slower paced magical realism. So maybe it also wasn't marketed to me properly. That could be part of the issue. Yeah, if you like cozy time travel, yeah, maybe check this one out. A lot of people really like this book, so that's definitely something to keep in mind. We're gonna keep moving along. I have 2 more books to talk about. One of them I feel like is pretty popular. The author is definitely very popular. The next book that we're gonna be talking about is Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating. Now, if you guys know me, Christina Lauren, chef's kiss to some of their books, okay? Love and Other Words, I love, and my favorite Half Nightstand, adore. Like, those books are incredible. So I went to Barnes & Noble one day, randomly saw that this book was by them. I was like, oh, I'm probably going to love it because it's Christina Lauren. I didn't love it. I'm so sorry. And quite frankly, I couldn't even tell you what this book is about, and therefore I'm not going to. Okay, someone said, if pure fun is what you're after, look no further than Josh and Hazel. This is true. If you're looking for just like a light, fun situation, I do feel like this would scratch that itch or like fulfill that need, desire. Yeah, I personally prefer some depth, like a lot more depth in my romances, so maybe that was part of the reason I didn't quite connect to this one. Someone said, this is the book of my life. Please excuse me while I hug this book to my chest for the next 10 years. Honestly, so true. Like, if I feel like I relate to specific things in books, I feel like for me that's Beach Read and Happy Place like the most. Like, I connect to so much of what's in those books. I just like want to hold them and cherish them forever. So I respect that review quite a lot, actually. Someone said this book was cute as shit. I love that for you. Christina Lauren is a favorite author of mine, and I have to say this is my favorite book of theirs since Autobiography. Wow, this person really loves this book. Then we have one more book to talk about. Yay! Okay, next up we have The Starlet and the Spy. All right, this book on Goodreads has a 3.13 and 1,420 reviews. This is another good example of I will read whatever you put in front of me. I don't know a single other person that's read this. My roommate in college acquired this copy somewhere. She didn't want it. She gave it to me and I just read it. My camera just stopped recording. That's not good. It keeps doing this lately. So I'm going to go through this last book really, really quickly. This book is about a Korean War survivor and Marilyn Monroe meeting each other, and that sounded really cool to me. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, damn, I love a good historical fiction story. I love unlikely animal friends. What more could I ask for? But I remember there being just like plot holes and not feeling connected to the story and just like not getting into it. Like, nothing was really making a lot of sense. Yeah, but let's see. There's 7% of people that gave this a 5-star review. So let's see what they had to say. Someone else said, this is an easy book to read in that it's short. It's written in a clear, often poetic prose. This book is very short if you're looking for like quick historical fiction. And it says it so happens to feature one of the most iconic movie stars of all time as a major character. I feel like that's another thing that I don't know how I feel about, like fictionalized versions of true people. I hope that's making sense. Like, I don't know how I would feel about a fictionalized version of myself. Like, maybe I could get into it. I really don't know. But I feel like reading this was interesting. I kind of like pure fiction better. Okay, everyone, we made it through my predetermined list of 1 and 2 star books. I'll say it one more time. If you guys love or like any of these books or they sounded interesting to you, that's awesome. Please go read them. Go check it out. I have literally no disrespect to anyone who has those feelings. I just, on a personal level, didn't connect with these books, and that's okay. That's what's great about reading, is everyone's going to have a different experience reading books, and I love that. So yeah, those are just my thoughts. And honestly, I don't know if I preferred to be the villain, like reacting to these people who felt so much joy and like I felt so much pain, or no, I think I liked this better. The last video I did was hard, like just to read about people hating books I love. That was rough. I'm gonna link that video down below if you guys do want to check it out. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave your name in your comment down below. I love getting to know each and every one of you beyond your username. This community is so fun. And lastly, I just wanted to do a shout out to subscribers. If you guys comment down below, I will shout you out in a video. Okay, I wanted to give a shout out to Danielle. Thank you so much for your sweet comment on my videos. Yeah, it just means so much to me, and I love hearing about what you guys are reading. Okay, I think that's all from me. I will see you guys in the next one. I hope you're having a great day and a great reading month. Okay, you guys. Bye.